What's good, familia? As you can see by today's title, you already know what the intellectual conversation is going to be about. But before we start this video, I want to direct this message straight to my family, man. Straight to my loved ones who's involved in my everyday life, man. I got to ask y'all for a favor. We all have our own vices. We all have something that we spend our money on that brings us instant satisfaction or temporary pleasure that don't really do nothing for us in the long run, right? So the favor I need from y'all, if you don't already have one, I want to ask that you sacrifice those vices and those temporary pleasures to invest in getting your passport, man. Get your passports, because the things that I'm working on and the things that I'm setting up for this family, I'm going to be sending out invitations. And you do not want to be the only one that don't make it out. You don't want to be the only one that see everybody come out and have a good time and start creating memories and talk about the good old time they had. And you the only one that didn't make it because you didn't either have your passport or you wasn't financially stable enough to buy a ticket to get out there. All right? The invitations that I'm going to be sending out, man, it's going to be damn near all-inclusive. And when I say damn near all-inclusive, I mean where we stand is going to be taken care of. What we doing is going to be taken care of. What we eating, you already know. If I eat, you eat, we eat, we not going to starve, all right? And if we do starve, we going to do it together, and we going to call it fasting, all right? So please, family, if you don't already have your passport, sacrifice what you got to sacrifice to get your passports, man. And that's all I want to ask. Now we can get into the video. Let's ride. So this video is brought to us because lately I've been attracting a lot of energy, man. These last couple months, I've had a couple people come up to me and ask me some questions that really sparked something in me, man. And question number one being, yo, Kev, how come every single day I see you, bro, you just so unrealistically optimistic? Like, you're always positive, you're always smiling, you're always happy, bro, and I just don't get it. Like, or, yo, Kev, tell me, bro, how come, like, nothing ever bothers you, bro? Like, I done seen you in situations where I was mad for you, bro, and you just brushed it off. Like, you just don't, like nothing could get you mad, bro. Like, I would hate to see what it takes to get you mad, because if somebody got you mad, obviously they had to do something extreme, bro. So like, what it is that keeps you so, like, so chill? Or my favorite one, but he said, and let me ask you something, bro. He said, hey, you always so chill, bro, and just so peaceful, and I don't get it, because, like, no disrespect, but you 30 years old, you ain't got no girlfriend, no kids, and you live in a van. So, like, how are you not stressed? Like, how are you so at ease with everything? Like, do I gotta go buy a van? Because if I didn't have no kids, I'd go buy me a van right now. But, like, what it is, because you're also the most motivating person I know. So what gives you so much peace? Like, how did you get to where you at, bro? So that's today, man. And it really comes down to 4 simple steps. It really comes down, obviously, life, there's so much that I've been through, but we all go through stuff. We all have to, you feel me? We all go through life. But it really comes down to these 4 simple things, man, that helped me become who I am today to achieve this level of freedom that I have right now. So I've been in this van all morning, and it's time for me to get out and get going. Come take a look at life through my eyes while I break down these 4 simple steps to truly attain freedom. That's right. Quick disclaimer. Even though I like to consider myself to be a hood therapist, I must admit that I am not a therapist, I am not a psychologist, and I am not a doctor. Everything that I'm sharing in this video is me sharing with you my experiences from the things that I've learned and the things that have helped me get to where I am at today. This is not me telling you what you should do with your life or what to do with your life. This video is only for educational and informational purposes only. Alright, so step number 1 is forgiveness and accountability. It's a 2-piece combo. You get 2 in 1. If you're anything like my family and I, then you've probably grown through some traumatic experiences. And unfortunately, because nobody taught us how to really deal with or handle or maneuver through these traumatic experiences, we all often chose to deal with them alone. For me, it wasn't until at the time I was at one of the lowest points in my life. I didn't think it could get any lower. Eventually it did, but I had no idea it would. So I was at one of the lowest points in my life. And on top of being already at one of the lowest points in my life, I got the call and I found out that my mom had breast cancer. Now, up until finding this out, I've been living my life 100 miles per hour. I didn't care about nothing. And when I found out my mom had breast cancer, that was like hitting a brick wall and completely stopping in my tracks. It was at that point that the gears started to turn in my head and in my heart, and things started to really change inside of me. When I found out my mom had breast cancer, I thought to myself, if my mom was to die today, how would I feel? And I forced myself to imagine my mother's funeral. Then I thought to myself, if my brothers were to die today, how would I feel? And I imagined their funerals, and I imagined my aunt's funeral and my uncle's funeral, and I just imagined each of my loved ones' funerals. And I came to the conclusion that I needed to forgive myself first and foremost, everybody and everything that ever went wrong in my life. And this forgiveness isn't for the others or them. This forgiveness is for us. This forgiveness was for me, because forgiveness is one of the big keys to releasing all the things that you have held inside. Think about it like this. Your body and your muscles are a prison. And the more stuff that you hold in, the more stuff that you bottle up, the more stressed and the more tense your muscles are, making it impossible for anything to escape. But the more that you release and the less that you hold in, the less stressed and the less tense your muscles are, making it a little easier for things to escape, like emotions, trauma, baggage, you name it. And right after forgiveness has to come accountability. Because we're not just gonna sit here and forgive and forget like nothing ever happened. Heck nah, like we've been through some traumatic experiences. We may never, ever, ever forget what happened to us, but that's not the point of forgiveness. The point of forgiveness is to release. Now we have to hold ourselves accountable and go, okay, well, why did we go through what we went through? For me in my situation, I had to realize that I was blaming everybody and everything for me being where I was in life. I was blaming growing up without a father for me being where I was in life. I was blaming my mom not being hard enough on us for me being where I was in life. And I was blaming my environment for me being where I was in life. And I realized that that is a real victim mentality. Once I realized it was a victim mentality, I dedicated my time and my energy to holding myself accountable. I had to say that every decision that I ever made before today, up until this day, is the reason why I am where I am in life. And every decision that I make from this day moving forward will determine where I end up or where I go in life. And at this time, at one of the lowest points in my life, I was in a situation where I had no choice but to face myself. I had no choice but to deal with myself. And there was a mirror. And at the time, I didn't know what mirror work was. I do now, but at the time, I didn't know. I would always be in this mirror, looking at myself in this mirror, talking to myself in this mirror, rapping music to myself in this mirror, showing myself self-love, but also criticizing myself in this mirror. And doing this over and over again repeatedly not only helped me to release what I've been holding in for years, but also to look inside and understand what's been going on inside of me. And this is what you call shadow work.
It involves doing a tremendous amount of work. It's called shadow work. It's what other people won't see. and it involves a great deal of integrity, it will help, you know.
For me, it was the mirror. And if you feel like mirror work is something that you really can't see yourself doing, there are so many other ways to do this inner work that may look like yoga for you, or it may look like meditation, or walks on the beach, or isolation. Whatever you feel resonates with you the best, just take it and run with it. And that is step number 1, forgiveness and accountability. Step number 2, we have to prioritize delayed gratification. What is delayed gratification? Delayed gratification, if you don't already know, is when you sacrifice the small things that bring you instant pleasure or temporary satisfaction for the longer term things that actually fill your cup, or the things that you truly desire that nourish your soul. We have to prioritize delayed gratification if we truly want to be free and do as we please. We all want to be free. We all want to just do whatever we want, whenever we want, however we want. But are we all ready to put in the work that it takes to get to be able to do that for the rest of our lives? So how do you start with delayed gratification? Delayed gratification starts with cutting your expenses. Anything that's not an absolute necessity, you should rethink and look at and consider eliminating from your budget. Budgeting and cutting your expenses is one of the first steps of delayed gratification. And for me, it came pretty easy because I am a minimalist. And also just growing up, for me, it is easy because growing up, we didn't really have much. And then when my parents split, I was at the age of around 13, turning 14, and I had to be the man of the household. I had to be the leader. I had to sacrifice a lot of my childhood to try to figure out how can I help my mom. I had to figure out how do I be a man? What is a man? So a lot of my youth was sacrificed trying to become an adult, and a lot of my 20s was sacrificed because I was still trying to figure it out, and I did not have it all figured out. So delayed gratification kind of comes easier for me because all my life I've been sacrificing the simple pleasures of the temporary things now to try to figure out this whole life stuff. And if delayed gratification is not coming easy for you, then you really have to focus also on what the biggest part of delayed gratification is. Knowing what you truly desire. What is it that you're sacrificing for? Your why has to be strong. You have to have a why so strong that it does not budge. Your why has to be stronger than any distraction or any temporary pleasure that comes your way. If you don't know what you truly desire, if you don't know what your why is, then of course it's going to be hard for you to cut expenses. It's going to be hard for you to budget. It's going to be hard for you to eliminate excuses because your why is not strong. So prioritize delayed gratification is step number 2. And in order to do that, you have to know what you truly desire, eliminate your excuses, cut your expenses, and budget, and start focusing on what you truly desire and start focusing on that. So that's step number 2, prioritizing delayed gratification. Step number 3 is self-education and investing in yourself. Everybody that I know has went through public school. I don't know nobody that's really been homeschooled like that. And we all talk about the system and that we grew up in. We all laugh at the school system. We all mock the school system, but we all continue to put our kids through the school system. So it's all good to be public school. I was public school my whole life. I don't think I'm going to public school my kids when I have kids, but I was public school and I laughed at the system and I mocked the system. And it wasn't up until the age of 23, there came a point in my life where I realized, well, if I'm gonna laugh at this system and I'm gonna mock this system, then what is the alternative? It goes back to the victim mentality. I realized that, okay, I'm laughing at this system and I'm mocking this system, but where am I gonna get my education? And what am I waiting on? And why am I depending on that system or blaming that system for not giving me enough? So self-education is highly important when it comes to trying to be free, trying to free yourself from whatever you're trying to free yourself from, or just trying to be more free in general. So self-education can start with books. Definitely reading. When I started reading, that's when I started to understand that almost everything in life comes down to knowledge. The more you know, the easier things get. So invest in getting yourself some books. There's courses as well for everything and anything that you want to learn in life. Anything that you could think of that you want to learn, there's a course for it. So take courses, educate yourself, learn new skills, hobbies, get some cheap hobbies. Obviously, we're still doing prioritize delayed gratification, but if you use cheap hobbies that you truly desire to learn skills in, to substitute those temporary satisfactions or temporary pleasures, you're actually fueling that delayed gratification and learning things for the long run and fueling into nourishing your soul and actually filling your cup. And guess what? YouTube University is the best and the most free way to educate yourself. Every question that you ever had or could ever think of, if you type it in on YouTube, somebody has made a video about it. YouTube University is one of my favorite ways to educate myself. And obviously you have to fact check and you have to source check and you have to check the credibility of your sources. However, start somewhere. Gotta start somewhere. So step number 3 is self-education and investing in yourself. The best for last. Step number 4 is realizing that you are already free. We are already free. As humans, we have a superpower, and that power is our power to choose. Every single second of every single day, we're faced with choices, and every decision that we make has a positive or negative consequence to it no matter what. So when you wake up in the morning, you get to choose if you're going to get up right away or if you want to snooze. What are you going to eat for breakfast, or are you going to skip breakfast? Are you going to go to work, or are you going to call out of work? Every single day we're faced with choices. Every single second we're faced with choices. So when people ask me, yo, Kev, how are you so unrealistically optimistic every single day? I choose optimism every single day because I would much rather have way more good days than bad. I could be regular, I could be miserable, I could choose to pout and moan, but then I'd probably have way more bad days than I'd have good days. So I choose optimism because I want to have way more good days than I have bad. So when they say, yo, Kev, how come nothing ever bothers you? It's because I choose to not let anything bother me. If my life or my freedom or the life of my loved ones ain't in danger, then this ain't no pressure. There's nothing to stress about. Nothing's gonna bother me. So when they ask, yo, Kev, how are you so free and like just so peaceful, like nothing could ever go wrong? It's because I choose this, man. I choose it every single day. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a choice. And it's a hard choice to make. But I tell you what, it's worth it, man. So if you want better, choose better. Don't take the easy routes. Choose the hard routes. Put yourself through something. Challenge yourself. It all comes down to choice. And that's the 4 steps that I use to become the man that I am today. I hope this helps some people. I know a lot of y'all gonna be mad that I saved that for last. Honestly, step number 4 could be step number 1. You could put step number 4 wherever you want to put it, man. But just know, we are free. And the moment that you realize you are free, your life might just change for the better. Peace. I love y'all.